tonight. Can you guys hear me? All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight to learn more about the Cary Parkway Pedestrian Bridge and Black Creek Greenway project. This is one of many bond projects that was approved in late 2019, and we're happy to share that federal funding has also been applied to this project and will pay for about half of it. My name is Kyle Hubert. I'm the project manager. Tonight, we've prepared a pre-recorded presentation to share project highlights as well as touch base on a couple other projects in the area. After the presentation, we'll provide time for discussion, comments, ask questions. I'm not going to promise that we'll answer all the questions tonight, but we'll definitely jot them down, and we're going to put those on our website once we have a chance to digest them and provide comments or answers. Prior to starting the presentation, I wanted to do a couple introductions. Kimley Horn is the consulting firm working on this project, and we've got Jeff Moore, he's leading their team. Kat Williams is also on the call, and she's managing the Black Creek Greenway renovation project. These two projects intersect, and so I wanted to have her here tonight. And I'll share that I live really close by, and I'm thankful that Kat is managing the rehabilitation project, because she's going to realign Black Creek Greenway, or at least provide an alternate route so that I don't have to climb Dynasty Drive anymore. That's a really tough hill on the Greenway Trail. Lynn Brills is also here. He's managing a sewer rehabilitation project that includes work along Lake Crabtree Greenway as well as Black Creek Greenway. And I also wanted, before we started the presentation, I wanted to provide a little bit of history. The existing bridge now, that's the Cary Parkway Bridge that's over Black Creek Greenway, was built in 1991. It's 260 feet long and it's about 40 feet tall. And the proposed pedestrian bridge will have similar dimensions, and it'll be 10 feet wide. The Black Creek Greenway was built around the same time period, and we do Greenway counts, and we're up to around 200,000 users annually, which really surprised me. The proposed pedestrian bridge is located on the north side of Cary Parkway, and that's the same side as North Cary Park. And at some point in the future, we anticipate widening the Cary Parkway Bridge to the south for the roadway, and that will be consistent with the rest of Cary Parkway. And I think with that, let's start the presentation.
Hello, and thank you for your interest in the Cary Parkway Pedestrian Bridge at Black Creek project. We're excited to share with you information about the project and present the preliminary designs. The goal of this project is to improve pedestrian safety along the Northwest Cary Parkway corridor and to improve connectivity to surrounding parks, neighborhoods, businesses, and shopping. This project also provides an opportunity to create a signature pedestrian bridge over Black Creek that will be a functional, enjoyable, and memorable feature. The project is being developed with strong collaboration between the town, design team, and an artist. In the fall of 2019, Cary citizens approved the Parks and Transportation Bond, which included funding for the pedestrian bridge. In 2020, Cary pursued and was awarded a $2.5 million federal grant for this project. The total project cost is approximately $6 million. This past spring, staff began the planning and design efforts on the project, including the hiring of an engineering and design firm. Design of the project began in earnest during the summer. More information on the project history and funding sources can be found on the project website at townofcary.org/Cary Parkway Bridge. The proposed bridge will complete this missing link in the sidewalk network and allow easier and safer access to the surrounding public spaces such as the Black Creek Greenway and North Cary Park. We are not only working with engineers and architects to construct this project, but are closely working with a professional artist to create something beautiful to become part of the Parkway and Art Network. Our inspiration for this project has been rooted in the nature surrounding the area. The trees, their branching, and leaves create a special character for Cary Parkway, North Cary Park, and the Black Creek Greenway. Coordination of landscape and lighting are key to create a cohesive experience. Native plant species, flowers, and foliage create seasonal change that brings interest throughout the year, and vegetation with berries and nuts invites more eco-diversity. Sidewalk approaching the bridge is currently lit with streetlights, while lighting will illuminate the bridge as an art piece, providing functional visibility for evening walks and highlighting the structure to those driving by. Weathering steel is proposed because of its sustainability, natural feel, ability to be shaped, and minimal maintenance required. The success of creating a unique experience within the construction of this bridge lies within the intentional and well-coordinated artistic, landscape, and lighting design. The following graphics represent initial design concepts as well as the location and experience of the proposed bridge. The concept depicted throughout this presentation is a prefabricated truss bridge with a sculptural and artistic cladding of weathering steel. These images are conceptual in nature and will likely change as the project progresses, but begin to represent the artistic quality, scale, and experience that can be provided by the bridge. Understanding the relationship that this bridge will have to the existing greenway has been an important part of the design process. This graphic represents the experience one will have from the existing Black Creek Greenway. The experience from the bridge surface moves through the tree canopy. Installation of this bridge will require some tree removal. However, the design intent of the bridge material illustrated here replicates the natural form of the Piedmont landscape. The bridge will be visible from the roadway, but not immediately adjacent. Distancing the bridge from the roadway allows for an enhanced pedestrian experience and for passers-by to see the bridge as a signature bridge during both day and night. The bridge is highlighted through the implementation of two terminal plazas at the south and north bridge abutments. In an effort to make the pedestrian bridge a signature location in Cary, the plazas provide the opportunity for rest, pause, and interest. These plazas blend the weathered steel into the context of the existing landscape through the use of artistic fall protection fencing and native plant materials. We are coordinating with the sewer and greenway projects in the area to limit impacts from construction. Improvements to a major sewer pipeline along Lake Crabtree will begin construction in fall 2021 from Evans Road to the Black Creek Greenway. Crabtree Creek Greenway will be closed this winter due to construction. Once the Crabtree Creek Greenway is reopened in spring 2022, the Black Creek Greenway will be closed in stages to allow sewer along the Greenway from Dynasty Drive north to the Old Reedy Creek Road trailhead at Interstate 40 to be improved. Detours will be in place throughout this project as necessary, and the town will communicate any changes to the status of the Greenway through its multiple channels. The Black Creek Greenway project will restore 2.5 miles of Greenway from Dynasty Drive to Old Reedy Creek Road, upgrading the Black Creek Greenway to current standards and move the Greenway out of areas prone to flooding. Construction is scheduled to begin in 2022 following completion of the Black Creek Greenway sewer rehabilitation project, with staged closures along the Greenway throughout construction. Information on detour routes for the Greenways can be found at carygreenwaydetour.com. Greenways are open from dawn until dusk. The project is currently under design development. Once the design is finalized, right-of-way acquisition is planned for fall of 2022 and construction will begin in early 2023. Construction is anticipated to last for 2 years and the bridge would open in early 2025. If there is anything you'd like to share or ask, please submit comments or questions by December 4th, 2021. You can use our online form on the project website listed here, or by phone at 311. We are happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you for attending this presentation, and we are looking forward to continuing to work on this project.
I think with that, we've received a few questions that I was going to touch base on, and I think Luana is going to help with questions that might come in as well during the that came in during the presentation, or that are coming in. One question that I wanted to touch base on real quick is that, or a comment, is that we're coordinating this project, the Cary Parkway Bridge project, with the Black Creek Greenway project. Both of them have federal grant money in them, so we're excited about that. And as such, both of them are on a similar schedule to begin construction, or to get construction authorization, I think is the term, late next year. The Black Creek Greenway project is well, I think we said 2.5 miles long, and there's phases along it. So for the Cary Parkway Pedestrian Bridge, it's in one of those phases. And we anticipate, we were asked about road closures and greenway closures, and I wanted to talk about that real quick. We haven't figured out all the details, but in general, right now, I think we're looking at closing Cary Parkway for a limited amount of time, so we can bring a crane in and set the pedestrian bridge, and we think that might be around a week. And we also feel like, looking at things, concepts preliminarily, that we'll be closing a lane of Cary Parkway in order to provide access for the contractor to bring materials, and that will probably be for a duration of several months. And again, we haven't fleshed out all those details, but I wanted to share that with you specific to the bridge, but also say that work would be coordinated with the Greenway project. There'll be greenway closures necessitated for both projects as well. We're looking at detours and access for the contractors. But I wanted to mention that that probably the Black Creek Greenway would have to be closed for a few months for this project, but that would be incorporated into the larger Black Creek Greenway construction project. So we're not closing the Greenway for one project and then open it and then closing it for the other project. We're trying to combine forces and to minimize inconvenience. So I wanted to address that comment. And I think one other comment is just the bridge, the project itself. There's I wanted to add, to talk a little bit about how the project was approved, and we've got the Cary Community Plan that lays out critical infrastructure needs for the town. There was a process involved. There's a lot of citizen input with that plan, and part of that plan identified transportation needs, and this was one of those projects. And then to fund that plan, there was a bond, and it was in 2019, but the voters approved that bond, and this is one of the projects that's within that bond. And it's a 650-foot gap, I think, in our sidewalk network, and completing this gap is going to provide direct connections to schools, North Cary Park, residential areas, and as I said before, it was recognized by NCDOT, as well as for their lap program. So supported, I guess, by NCDOT as well. So I just wanted to share that. We're excited that they're supporting this project and they're paying for basically half of it. And I think with that, I'll turn it over to Luana to throw out other questions.
Yes, I have several questions for you. I think the first one put in the chat you've already addressed, talking about the bridge closure. And I will add that we do regularly get requests from residents for this missing link in Cary Parkway. So it's a regular request that we see from the residents in this area of town. Can you talk briefly, Kyle, about how the bridge will be accessed from Cary Parkway? Just kind of clarify.
How the bridge will be accessed by Cary Parkway. So there's existing sidewalks on both sides of Cary Parkway on the North Cary Park side. So you can access the bridge from those sidewalks. One of them leads from Hampton Lee Court, and the other one's from North Cary Park. And then in North Cary Park, there's a network of trails that would lead up and tied to this sidewalk. And on the other side of Black Creek, where I mentioned Hampton Lee Court, there's also a greenway access that goes down to Black Creek Greenway. So now you can circumnavigate the bridge. It's steep topography and it's a pretty long route.
And so users that on Black Creek Greenway will have access to the bridge if they connect, correct, up the Greenway connections. And then I see a question in the chat. Will a sidewalk be added on the south side of Cary Parkway between Thorpe and the bridge?
On the south side, the road's set up for an eventual, when you drive down Cary Parkway, you can see there's curb and gutter on one side and sidewalk, and the other side is a ditch section. And so Cary Parkway is set up to be widened to that south side. And when we do that widening, then there will be sidewalk on that side. But I'm not aware of plans to put a sidewalk on that side until we widen it out and build curb and gutter and install drainage
it's true. It's really difficult to add sidewalk on roads that don't have curb and gutter. So because we have to meet ADA requirements and we only have so much land available. I'm gonna throw a question to Kat now. Kat, if you're available, can you briefly talk about the native plant rescue that you are incorporating into your project for the Greenway, and then also by extension into the Cary Parkway pedestrian bridge project?
Yes, so we have two sections of the Black Creek Greenway. Can you hear me?
Yes. Great,
okay, because I was worried about my speaker configuration or my mic's configuration. Anyway, we have two sections. Phase 5 of the Black Creek renovation is going through an area that connects Dynasty to the existing trail straight across Dynasty. And that site is wooded. And then we have another site that we are going to pull the trail across the west side of the creek. Currently, that area is washed out, and we're going to have that repaired on Monday. But those two areas, as soon as we have the limits of disturbance flagged out by the contractor, we will invite the Native Plant Society and other groups to come in and rescue plants that they are interested in rescuing. And so that is something we did when we were working on the Crabtree Creek Greenway, and it was very successful. A lot of people came and got plants out of the construction site, and we're going to do that again with the Black Creek.
And then I see some comments about the Greenway crossing on the west side of the bridge at Silver Ridge Court. I know there's some requests for a similar crossing that is currently down on Dynasty with the flashing yellow lights where you push the button. It's called a rectangular rapid flashing beacon. And certainly we can pass those requests on to our traffic department to kind of take a look at that crossing and assess there. So certainly I will pass those comments on. I think we also had a comment about sidewalk repair in that area. And so if you give me a moment, I will put a link. You can always call 311 for sidewalk repair, or you can submit a request online for sidewalk repair and even like take a picture and mark the exact location for that also. But 311 is always a good resource if you ever see anything out in the street related to infrastructure that needs maintenance. Let's see. Let's see, you mentioned widening Cary Parkway eventually. Please confirm that you were speaking of widening for a sidewalk only and not for additional traffic lanes. Do you want to take that, Kyle, or do you want me to take that?
I was speaking to widening to finishing the road. So it would be a 4-lane divided section like the rest of Cary Parkway. I think Luana spoke about there's difficulties on a 45-mile-an-hour road with no curb and gutter and installing a sidewalk. It would be, if we don't do the entire road widening, it would be a temporary, it would be temporary. That's something that we can look at, but there's a lot of challenges associated with that. I guess I was saying that this is the last section of Cary Parkway that has not yet been widened, so there's no sidewalk on that south side. That's the plan, is once the road is widened, we would provide that. So it's a good comment, I think, that that I'm hearing about crossing traffic over to the sidewalk side, looking at that crossing up by Noel.
And I don't know if anyone will be able to answer that tonight, but there's a question about there being a lot of non-native plants along the greenway, and will they be culled? Kat, I see you nodding, so I'm gonna hand it over to you.
So on all of the greenways in the triangle, there are a lot of non-native plants. And I know that George has NC State University always does a great class about non-natives on the greenways, invasive plants. We will not be focused on that at this time. We're going to focus on getting the alignment correct and then replanting around the areas that are disturbed. And those areas of disturbances, like we'll be taking out all the vegetation, so the non-natives will go as well. But we are not working on invasive species with this project necessarily. We're going to stay in our little easement, which is actually a very narrow corridor. Yeah.
Thank you, Kat. The next question here, when do we have an idea when the road will be widened? There's currently no funding either in our budget or in CDOT's budget to widen Cary Parkway. And I will say there is a long-range plan for the metropolitan area, and it currently has it. I'm not going to say it's not going to go out even further in the next iteration. 2040 is the horizon year for that. But keep in mind, there's not funding yet for that. So it may say 2040, it could potentially get pushed out to 2050 in the next iteration.
That was why too, I mean, a while ago, it's been several years, but the town widened Cary Parkway, up by the intersection of Harrison Avenue. And that was where we were having a lot of the capacity issues. And so by improving that intersection, the rest of Cary Parkway from Evans to Harrison functions pretty well. And I think that's why that horizon's so far out of the amount of traffic that's on the road.
And then there was a question, who can you write to voice your concerns about the crossing at Cary Parkway that we mentioned? I'm assuming you mean at Silver, and I should remember that, Silver Ridge Court. I would recommend that you either call 311 or file a 311 request online, because then it actually gets in our system. They start tracking those requests. And then they, then they can search and group them together and see how many residents are actually requesting that crosswalk. So that's just really good for us to track those requests and see how they're, the demand for them in our system if you follow through 311. So that would be my recommendation. And let's see. Will bicycles be routed onto the sidewalks and over the bridge? Kyle, do you want to take that, or do you want me to give it a shot?
There's going to be, the sidewalk will be widened from Hampton Lee Court going across the bridge. And then there's going to be, where North Cary Park is, there's an access from the sidewalk that goes into the park, and it'll be 10 feet to that area. And so if a bicycle chooses to not cross the existing roadway bridge and to get off and use the pedestrian bridge, there'll be a 10-foot wide curb ramp at Hampton Lee Court, and there'll be a driveway access adjacent to North Cary Park that could be used as a curb ramp to get a bike back onto the street. That's used currently as, it's an access point for maintenance vehicles to get into the park. So that'll probably be, that's how I see that working.
And then I'm seeing that someone requested a sidewalk a couple of years ago, but was denied based on a previous study, and that they wanted a crosswalk similar to Dynasty. And so we will certainly make that request to our traffic department. NCDOT has certain standards that we have to adhere to when we install crosswalks, and the level of protection that is there. But certainly I would say make your request on 311. I know there was also another question about having a crosswalk on Cary Parkway. I can't remember if it was east of the bridge or west of the bridge, just adding an additional crosswalk. And I will let you know, we're not, we can't add a crosswalk unless there is sidewalk on the opposite side of the road. So crosswalks have to connect sidewalks. So unless there's a sidewalk there, we can't install it and meet federal requirements. And so, it's true, the pedestrian bridge will only provide pedestrian facilities on the north side of the road today. Ultimately, it is our goal to have sidewalks and pedestrian accommodations on both sides of the street. But for the south side of the street, we are going to have to wait until, honestly, there's a future widening project. And so that will be a little ways down the road, but certainly we are trying to make sure we have pedestrian facilities in the area, and providing that pedestrian bridge is certainly a priority for us to improve the pedestrian safety in the area and connectivity to all the neighborhoods, parks, businesses. Are there any other questions that we can answer this evening for you? If not, we'll wrap it up shortly. Okay, well, I just want to, oh, there's a question. I'm not sure. I believe Kyle's answered everyone's questions. Okay, wait a second. There's a question about there will be access from both sides of the bridge. And yes, the sidewalks on either side of the Black Creek will connect to the pedestrian bridge. So I feel like I'm answering your question. And do you have any other comments you want to add, Kyle? Maybe let's remind people about the open comment period.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that, the purpose here tonight was to introduce the project to you. The presentation's on the website, so you can, if you want to share that with anybody, you're welcome to. And there's also a link to submit questions on the website. And I think I'd like to reiterate what Luana said is if, talking about these crosswalks, different, different amenities that could help improve the area. 311 is a great avenue for that. It helps us track these requests. So I just wanted to second that. And we're gonna take the questions that we have, and I want to try to take those and upload those to our website. I think we're asking for them, or for the questions, the last day to be on December 4th. And so once we have all those questions and have a chance to digest them and answer them, I want to try to post those on our website to respond back to you. So I just wanted to share that. Thank everybody for coming out. And unless there's anything else.
Thank you all. We'll have this video posted in the next few days.